Hey ladies, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found your way in. Get cozy, pour yourself a glass of wine or maybe some tea, or heck, even both, depending on how your week's been. Now here's the thing. Today's topic is flirty, playful, and might just shift how you see your own power as a woman. Most people, when they hear the word sexy, think of tight dresses, red lipstick, and posing like they're in a fragrance ad. But that's not what this is about. Real sexiness, the kind that truly draws men in, lives in the subtle moments. It's the small things, the times when you're not even trying, and somehow that makes it 100 times more magnetic. So today, I'm diving into 7 naturally sexy things women do that catch guys off guard. And no, these aren't tricks or games. They're just sincere and effortless behaviors that make a man pause and go, wait, she's different. I need to know her. Whether you're dating, in a long-term relationship, or just learning to embrace your inner magnetism, you're going to love this. And believe me, some of these may even surprise you. That turns guys on? Yep, it really does. So let's get into it. Here are 7 sexy things women do that completely capture men's attention without even trying. Want to know what truly makes a woman stand out in a room full of people, all talking over each other? It's her comfort in the quiet. I'm not referring to that awkward silence where you're just scrolling on your phone. We've all been there. I mean the kind of silence that's rich with calm, not anxiety. It's when she doesn't rush to fill every space with chatter or random thoughts just to keep things going. Instead, she sits with presence, at ease. That stillness speaks louder than words. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't feel the need to constantly explain or prove herself. Imagine a guy says something, and rather than immediately responding, she just smiles, keeps her gaze steady, maybe takes a slow sip of her drink, and waits. That confident pause, it draws him in. It builds anticipation in the most delicious way because it says, I'm not chasing your attention, I already own it. Most people talk to be noticed, but someone truly confident listens to understand. She's not afraid of silence. She owns it. It gives her a moment to watch, to truly take in the person in front of her. And that kind of grounded presence is incredibly attractive. It's not that she's not interested, she's simply centered. Her vibe doesn't scream, choose me. It softly says, I know my worth. Let's see if you align with it. And here's what makes it even better. That kind of confident quiet doesn't make her seem cold. It makes her feel in control, like she's writing the scene while he's still figuring out what part he's playing. That's not just sexy, that's unforgettable. Because true attraction doesn't come from how much you say, it comes from the weight your words carry. And when you give a man that brief space, that little moment where he's wondering what you're about to say, you stop being part of the chat. You become the whole experience. There's this blink and you'll miss it kind of moment that hits different for a guy. It's the simple hair flip. Now hold on, before you roll your eyes thinking, seriously, that's what does it? Just hear me out. I'm not talking about some exaggerated commercial style toss like you've been rehearsing in the mirror. No, I mean the completely unplanned one. The kind you do without even noticing. Maybe you're in mid-laugh and push your hair behind your ear, or maybe you're looking at your phone and give a little flick to move it out of your face. That right there is the magic. Because it's not staged, it's not thought through, it's just you being you. And that's what makes it hot. Men notice it because it feels raw, real. like you were in your zone, not putting on a show. In a world where so many people are trying to appear polished and perfect, that small act of natural femininity hits different. It's not about your hair, it's about the confidence underneath it. It says, I'm at ease in my own body. And that's gold. Sometimes that flip isn't even about him, it's about you. Just feeling good, adjusting, enjoying the moment. And guess what? That makes it even more attractive, because what's sexier than someone who isn't even trying, but still draws all the attention? That little flick, that casual tuck behind the ear, it's soft, feminine, and somehow magnetic without a single word. And guys take notice more than they admit. They're not going to say, wow, that hair move was mesmerizing, but they'll remember it. It'll stick like a quiet loop playing in their minds, and they won't even know why. So no, you don't need to perfect the hair toss. You just need to keep showing up as yourself, because it's in those unfiltered moments that you shine the most. Let's talk about something most women don't realize is a secret weapon: their voice. And don't worry, I'm not suggesting you sound like a breathy actress or whisper like you in a spa ad. That's not the point. I'm talking about your tone, especially that smooth, soft, almost playful tone women use when they're feeling the moment. It's not fake or overly seductive. It's subtle, and that's why it works. Imagine you're chatting. Maybe there's some chemistry building. And instead of raising your voice or sounding excited, you just let it drop slightly. Not dramatically, just enough to make him lean in. Now that's the move. It's not about being loud. It's about drawing him closer with less. When you play with your tone, it creates intimacy, like a quiet circle where only the two of you exist, like you're sharing something private. That subtle switch in energy, it works faster than you think. You're not trying to impress him with fancy words, you're pulling him in with your essence. And your voice is one of your strongest tools. Some women speak with this rhythm, this grounded pace that slows a man down and makes him really listen. Not just to their words, but to the feeling behind them. And let's be honest, there's something extremely sexy about a woman who doesn't need to be over the top to stand out. She's composed, a little flirty. Maybe there's a spark of fun in how she speaks, and that alone makes her unforgettable. The real power isn't in what you're saying. It's in the way you deliver it. Confidence doesn't always come from volume. Sometimes it arrives in a whisper that stops the room. Because when you speak in a way that invites someone closer, they don't want to leave. Let's just be real. Most men don't receive compliments very often. Not meaningful ones anyway. The average guy might remember the last compliment he got for months. And let's be honest, it probably came from his mum. That's why when a woman gives him a genuine compliment, especially one he didn't see coming, it stays with him. It doesn't just land, it lingers. And the best ones are always the least expected. Not the usual nice shirt or you have great eyes. Though those are kind, they're kind of standard. But when you say something like, you've got this calm energy that makes people feel safe around you, or I love the way your brain works, it's fascinating, that hits differently. Why? Because it shows depth. It shows you're really paying attention, not just to how he looks, but who he is. That kind of noticing is rare, it's special, and it sticks. Men, like anyone, want to feel seen, not just looked at. They want to know that their thoughts, their energy, the way they show up matters. When you compliment something about his character, his humor, his intelligence, or how he carries himself, it touches something deeper. It makes him feel not just handsome, but significant. And let's be honest, feeling valued is one of the most seductive things in the world. And the delivery matters too. It's not about laying it on thick, it's about sliding it in with ease, like, wow, that was a really smart way to see it. Who knew you had those layers? Maybe said with a grin or a tease. And that's the moment he starts to see you, not just as someone attractive, but someone who gets him. Someone who sees what others don't. And that right there is where real attraction begins. Here is your script with proper punctuation added, all while keeping the same volume, over 9,000 characters, using simple English and no headings or subheadings, with only slightly changed words for natural flow and clarity. The rim of her glass, the way her fingers absent-mindedly glide across the table, or how she slowly tucks a strand of hair behind her ear, like it's part of the rhythm in her words. You see, when a woman laughs freely, without holding back, it sends a signal. It says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to enjoy myself. And let me tell you, there's nothing more attractive to a man than a woman who embraces her happiness. Because when you're near someone who's genuinely enjoying themselves, it's nearly impossible not to get drawn into their vibe. It's magnetic. And here's a little secret. Laughter lowers people's guards. It eases tension. So when a woman laughs fully and without apology, it helps him feel safe enough to be himself too. He begins to loosen up, he starts laughing more deeply, and before you know it, it's no longer just small talk, it's something deeper, it's a bond. And it all began because you weren't scared to be completely and unapologetically yourself. And let's be honest, a beautiful laugh is hard to forget. A man might not remember what you wore, or the exact words you said, but if your laugh made him laugh too, that moment will stay with him. That's the sound that echoes in his mind when he's lying awake, scrolling through thoughts, trying to figure out why he can't stop thinking about you. So, don't quiet your laughter. Don't hide it or try to make it smaller. Don't cover your mouth like joy needs to be toned down. Let it ring out. Let it fill the space. Let it be as bold and radiant as you are. Because when you laugh from deep within, you're not just attractive, you're unforgettable. There's eye contact. And then there's that kind of eye contact that holds for just a little longer. I'm not talking about the type that feels too intense or uncomfortable, like an interrogation. I'm talking about that tiny pause, that extra second, that brief heartbeat longer than usual, when she keeps looking into his eyes. And in that split second, everything feels different. That moment doesn't just say, I see you. It says, I see you, I know what I'm doing, and I'm not afraid to let you feel it. And that, right there, drives a man crazy. Because lasting eye contact is raw. It's powerful. It tells him more than words ever could. When a woman keeps eye contact with a playful glint or a little smirk tugging at the edge of her lips, it creates instant tension, like something meaningful is being exchanged without either one saying a word. Most people look away too fast. It's natural. We get nervous, shy, or we don't want to look too interested. But that tiny pause, where she doesn't look away, that's where the spark lives. Because that's the moment he starts thinking, wait, was she flirting with me? Did I imagine that? What just happened? Suddenly, you're not just someone he spoke to. You're someone he's thinking about and wondering about. And in that instant, you become the mystery. You become the one he wants to figure out. And here's what's so incredible about it. It's not about being flirtatious in an obvious or exaggerated way. It's about being mindful. A self-assured woman understands how strong her gaze can be. She doesn't throw it around carelessly, But when she chooses to look just a little longer than expected, it sets off a current that lingers in the space between, like quiet lightning. She doesn't have to be loud. She's not trying to steal the spotlight. But the way she carries herself, the way she moves with calm certainty, with that soft, confident smile that quietly says, "I know who I am," that's the moment people can't help but notice. So the next time you step into a restaurant, a meeting, or even your living room, remind yourself you don't have to shrink down to fit in. Let them feel your presence. Let your vibe speak before you say anything. Because a woman who walks in confidence doesn't chase attention, it naturally finds her. It's about being entirely and unapologetically yourself, resting in your natural feminine energy. The woman who knows her worth, stands her ground, and doesn't need to seek attention because it's drawn to her like gravity. That kind of woman doesn't just catch a man's eye. She captures his mind, his heart, and his soul. And here's the most freeing part. You don't have to change a single thing about who you are. You don't need to practice lines. You don't have to master flirting techniques. And you definitely don't need to pretend to be anyone else. All you need to do is stop dimming the brilliance that's already inside of you. Because when you accept your own inner power, even in small everyday ways, you become unforgettable. And any man lucky enough to witness that will realize he's not just looking at someone beautiful, he's seeing someone who stirs something deep inside him. Now, I want to know, which of these 7 irresistible things do you catch yourself doing without even thinking? Or which one are you curious to try a little more? Share your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one and I love hearing what you experience. And if this video gave you a little boost of confidence, a smile, or even a new perspective, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and pass this along to a friend who could use a reminder of how magnetic she truly is. Remember, you don't need to be louder, more daring, or different. You just need to be you. Because when you do that, you're not just attractive, you become absolutely irresistible.